Hi everyone, just a quickie today. I wanted to share with you about how we can let ourselves receive love. And you know, if we have some patterns there that block us from receiving love, let me start again. So many of us say that we want to be loved and that we want to really feel loved. Yet I see so many of us, and myself included too, just not being open to it, you know, and so often, more often than not, we're more attached to who we are or who we think we are than we are wanting to actually be loved. Hi, Magita. Nice to see you, gorgeous. So let me explain a little bit. You know, if you don't feel like, if you feel like you're not loved, if you feel like people don't love you and appreciate you the way that you want to, and this is a pattern for you, there's only one thing that's really common in all of the experiences that you're having. And I can guarantee that, and that's you. So we need to change ourselves a little bit. We need to be willing to let go of our identity to a degree to let love in. Let me explain a little bit. I'll give myself as an example. I had an experience the other day with a person who I find extremely challenging, and this person is quite closed and just really difficult to deal with. And I was really hurt and a bit triggered by this, and I went to speak to my husband about it, and his response was, he was really kind, and then one of the things he said was, well, are you sure that that you weren't coming from a place of, ... And my response to him was, initially inside, I felt like, I can't believe you take their side, or, how could you not see what I see? Hi, Karen. Hi, gorgeous. And, I stopped myself though and went, hang on a second. This man loves me. So I listened. I actually listened to what he had to say. So to do that though, I had to open myself, because in the past I've been running a story that, people don't get me, or people don't take my side, whatever the old silly story is. And that story is a part of who I am, because there is a time in my life where that was true. And so that's a part of my identity, whether I'm conscious of it or not. And so when someone's trying to give me love or give me attention or give me energy, if I'm holding on to that story, then I can't let the love in. And I see this so much. I see this in my clients. I see it in friends. And I saw it in a colleague of mine, a friend of mine recently, who... she talks a lot about wanting to be loved, and no one cares for me. No one takes care of me is her kind of story. And she's experienced that. And it's true. Like, she actually has that experience, and she keeps having that experience because she's so attached to that. She gets energy from that, from that being her story. She gets whatever it is, pity or sympathy. And so because that's who she is and that's how she gets energy, she's not open to receiving love in the way that she really wants to, which is actually somebody caring about her. So for her to be able to feel love and receive love, she needs to let go of her story that no one cares about her. So in the moment when someone's trying to give her some love, she needs to be able to be open to it, but that's scary. And, and this is something we talk a lot about, and I hear a lot of people, myself too, talking about being triggered. And this is exactly what triggers are. Triggers, when you get triggered, this is simply a moment where you're experiencing something in yourself. A situation's occurred, and it's brought up in you an old pattern that is not life-affirming, a detrimental or life-negating pattern. The reason a trigger's good though is because you're aware of it. So in the past, when you're in that situation and say somebody says to you, like my husband said to me, someone says, oh, are you sure you didn't have anything to add to that? In the past, I wouldn't have even been conscious of any triggers. I just would have gone, I can't believe you think that, and that's not fair, and you don't care, and you don't know me, and you don't love me. That's just being in the drama and being in the old program. But when I'm triggered, that means, yes, okay, I can feel. So I'm separate. It's like I'm separate from that old program. It's still there, and there's still the potential to go down that pathway if I choose to, but the difference is I can choose to. So if you're feeling triggered, this is great. If you feel your shit come up, this means you have an opportunity to choose something different, to let go that part of your identity and choose something different. Okay, well, what if I instead opened up to what was happening right now? How can I open to love more in this moment? If this trigger isn't real, if this trigger is just a story and I'm willing to let that go, how can I receive love in this moment? I did that with my husband the other day, and it was amazing. What he was saying was really loving. And was it true? It got me to think about it, and it got me to realize that it wasn't true, which was great because then I wasn't in self-judgment. But it also just disarmed the conversation, and he moved on to something else, which was really beautiful and really caring, and he gave me a beautiful hug and just kind of held me in that moment. So for you, when you're triggered, ask yourself that question. How can I open to love more in this moment? This friend of mine who has this story that no one takes care of them, had she have just put that story aside and asked herself, how can I receive love more in this moment? She would have realized that actually, literally in that moment, I was trying to see how she could be cared for. Like I was trying to see what I could do, how I could create a situation for her to have her needs met. But she couldn't hear that because she was so attached to her old story. And so for you guys, in relationships, if you're dating or you're in a relationship and you feel like, you're not getting the love that you want, be aware of those triggers. Be aware when an old story comes up. Ask yourself, am I willing to let go of who I think I am in order to receive love? And that might sound simple. It is simple, but it's a challenge because we're pretty attached to who we think we are. That's how we've gotten attention. That's how we've gotten energy in the past. But if you want to have deep, true, juicy love and a juicy relationship with someone, it takes courage. That's why we do what we do, because it's not just as simple as saying, yeah, okay, I'm just going to be in love now. We've lived a life where we've taken on a lot of armor just to get through, just to be safe. But there is a safe way to take that away now because we're adults. We can be at the helm of our own ship, and we can choose to open to love. I hope that this has helped some of you, and I'll see you again soon.